Good morning again. This is JC. I'm bringing you another raw story that originated in Politico, but Raw Story has reprinted it. And it is about how the Republicans who are doing the markup of the Republicans' great and what does Trump say? Great, beautiful, wonderful bill on how the financing is going to work in the future for our country and our government. So let's listen to this. This is just absolutely shocking, especially where they are trying to cut Medicaid, and they don't even know what they're trying to cut money from that Medicaid does. And some, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, GOP congressmen and senators are staunchly against cutting Medicaid because their states use it, and this would push the bill for Medicaid back on the states. They would have to provide money for it out of the state coffers, and in some instances, the Medicaid recipients themselves would have to pay for their own care. And the other part is, if they didn't follow the bill, then the people who didn't take Medicaid also couldn't get on the Affordable Care Act and find insurance. They'd be prohibited from it. So it's absolutely shocking the way the Republicans are trying to take away your medical care. Here we go.
Sneaky additions shock Republicans debating their own bill. First we're hearing. Published by Raw Story. Top House Republicans were caught off guard by some of the provisions in their massive budget bill as the process to get it ready for passage began, Politico reported on Wednesday. The bill, which is meant to gather up all of President Donald Trump's priorities on tax cuts, energy deregulation, and border security, is jam-packed with a number of controversial proposals, like $600 billion in cuts to Medicaid, all while projected to massively increase the federal deficit to permanently extend tax cuts that flow mostly to the rich. Senior officials on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, according to the report, were 16 hours into a nearly 27-hour markup when it became clear that top Republicans on the panel weren't clear on what key Medicaid provisions in the legislation they were actively debating would actually do. Meanwhile, GOP lawmakers in swing districts expressed confusion about exactly how the proposed Medicaid work requirements would function, and a number of them were particularly alarmed at a proposal that would impose cost sharing on some Medicaid recipients, forcing them to pay for the coverage. Representative Ryan McKenzie, RPA, bluntly told reporters that there were some items in there that it was the first time we were hearing of them. Others were taken aback at the provision that people who fail to meet the planned Medicaid work requirements would also become ineligible for subsidies on the Affordable Care Act insurance exchanges. Democrats on the committee seized on this provision to point out that the GOP's plan inherently assumes millions of people would be thrown off of their insurance, and that if they didn't deny those subsidies, the work requirements wouldn't even save the government any money because people disqualified from Medicaid could then get subsidized health plans on the exchanges. All of this comes at a moment when a number of Republicans from various wings of the party are already raising objections to key elements of the proposal. For instance, Senator Josh Hawley, RMO, has repeatedly drawn a line in the sand about cuts to Medicaid, which are core to how the bill implements some of its cost offsets. And multiple Republicans from New York State, who have demanded full repeal of the state and local tax deduction cap, SALT, after Republicans themselves instituted it in 2018, are balking at the significantly watered-down solution on that policy in the bill. Democrats are going on offense amid all these problems, with Representative Jerry Nadler, DNY, posting on X, "They rushed this cruel bill to mark up in the dead of night without even understanding what they were voting on. The American people deserve leaders who will fight for them, not destroy their lives to hand billionaires another round of tax cuts."
And there we are. Republicans are so dumb, they don't understand what they're voting on in this Ways and Means bill type bill. It's unbelievable that we elect people who are unqualified to seats in the U.S. Congress. They're unqualified, that they cannot understand what it is they're reading and why it's in the bill. The way that the bills are written in the United States allows this kind of trash to be put in them and to get by and be voted on because of the fact that the bills are written in a way to be ambiguous to the people who are going to vote on them. And then only after the bill passes and is implemented do we find out what's really going to be accomplished by the bill and what's going to be put into practice. So it's extremely dangerous. By the way, Politico is one of the better sources of information. The Hill's another source. Punchbowl's another source. There's all kinds of online sources of information that are credible when it comes to finding out these things. The most important one to me is Raw Story because I use it more than the others. But Raw Story combines the information from all the other news sources into one place. So if you want to do something and you want to have a subscription to a news source, for $6.99 a month, you can get Raw Story, or you can get it free if you just want to read their free stories. It's the best source on the internet. You might think that Midas Touch is, but Midas Touch it could cost $4.95 a month, and they are putting out the truth, and they're doing a great job. But these three brothers at $4.99 a month with 500,000 subscribers are getting rich in the process. So I will not subscribe to Midas Touch. I only watch their free videos and podcasts. I'm not going to give those guys money out of my pocket so they can get rich. Anyway, this is JC, St. Louis's only living hippie and an oldest living hippie. Who I give you everything for free. When you subscribe to my streams on the internet, it's free. Okay? So, I love all of you. Fuck Trump and fuck this bill and fuck all the damn Republicans. Talk some more, Jack. Keep on trucking.